Anna Marie Holmes has performed and taught ballet in over 30 countries on 5 continents. Trained in Russia, she became the first North American to be invited to perform with the Kirov Ballet. She has taught and restaged many classical ballets for American Ballet Theatre and Dance Theatre of Harlem. From 1990 to 1994, she directed the schools for the Jackson International Ballet Competition. As artistic director of the Boston Ballet from 1997 to 2000, she was the visionary that built the company to national prominence.
Well, when I first began dancing, I studied with Lydia Karpova in Vancouver, Canada. Then I went to New York and I studied with Doubrovska. Then I went to St. Petersburg and I studied with Natalia Dudinskaya, Alexander Pushkin, and Alla Shelest. At first I was scared stiff because I didn't know what to expect. But then after encouragement and working there, I was put into Dudinskaya's class, which was all the ballerinas. Like Makarova was in there, and Sizova was in there. All the different ballerinas were in that class. Karpova, they were all in the ballerinas class. So at first I thought, oh, I don't need this. It's too hard. I'm going to leave. But then I was there with my ex-husband, David, and we looked at each other and we said, let's begin to work because no one else has this opportunity. Well, Pushkin was an amazing teacher because he was a gentle, gentle soul. And I had him privately every day. I had him and Dudinskaya privately every day. For example, Natasha Makarova had Dudinskaya maybe once or twice a month. I had them privately every day. And Pushkin encouraged me to take the teaching course in St. Petersburg, which I did. And he would come and he would gently say, push your right shoulder back, and it worked. I mean, he just knew the right things to say. Well, you have to realize I'm American and Canadian, okay? So I understand the culture here. And the culture here is different than in Russia. For example, when I did Corsair, some of the things were, for us, and our mentality was so funny that I couldn't do it straight. So I made it a comedy, or I made a person that was a mime, because we don't have that very many great mimes. I made it an acting, a really dancing part. For instance, in Corsair, I made Lankadem, the seller of the women. I gave him the pas de esclave, big pas de deux to do, because it made him dance, gave him something to do. And I had Malakoff do that the first time, and then he did it a lot. Sergeyev redid it. And Sergeyev was a master at making male variations. I mean, he did Swan Lake, he did Sleeping Beauty, and also Chibukiani was a master also of doing male variations. And we're in a day now where the male dancer is very important. So I think we should use the male dancer as much as we can. I worked a lot with Rudy van Danzig. I was ballerina of the National Ballet of Holland for 4 years. And he did some beautiful ballets on me. And he just passed away this last year. But I loved working with him. I worked a lot with Juan Corelli. He did a lot of work on me, and I did a lot of television ballets and things like that. I hired Christopher Wheeldon when I was artistic director of Boston Ballet. He was my resident choreographer. I was the first person to hire him in. He did some very nice ballets for Larissa Ponomarenko and Viktor Plotnikov. Then I loved Jerome Robbins' ballets. I was a fan of Jerome Robbins. And Jerome Robbins really liked me, and I really liked him. And I did 9 Balanchine ballets too. I really enjoyed dancing Symphony in C, Serenade, Apollo, And when I was ballerina in Amsterdam, Balanchine came there and he worked with us. So that was very nice. I enjoyed that. I like going to ballet when the dancers are good. If the dancers aren't good, I don't like to look at it. And if the dancers are good, they can almost change the choreography. If the dancers are bad, it spoils it for me. So I need to have a fine-tuned dancer, a ballerina with beautiful feet and legs and that kind of thing. Then I enjoy it, even if the choreography isn't the best. Boston, well, I'm very disappointed with Boston. I think Boston has gone backwards. It hasn't gone forward, it's gone backwards. So that's disappointing. But the dancers look too young to me. And the school has gone, there's no system. You know, you need a system to teach properly, and especially if you have other teachers. You have to have some kind of what you learn first, what you learn next, what's next, what's next, what's next. Otherwise, it's a mess. There's some very good dancers at ABT. Some very good dancers. And the problem with ABT is that they don't rehearse enough. And so when they go on stage, a lot of the dancers, they don't know what they're doing. And that's why it sometimes looks a mess, because they don't have enough time to rehearse. Ballet in America has become very physical. I think some of it, as you might say, looks a little trashy because they're kicking and they're jumping and there's no reason for doing it. When there's a choreographer that takes the good dancers and works with them and gives them a reason for dancing and a feeling, then they look fabulous. They need something to make them feel like an artist. And they need to be loved, and they need to be nurtured. And if they're not loved and nurtured, they're like anything else, they wilt and die. Well, boards of directors in America have become a problem. And that is because they get the ego that they know more than the artistic director, or they know more than the artist. How can a board of directors know more than an artist? Not in a ballet company. I mean, they're the ones that should be out there getting the money. Get the money for the artist. So I appreciate the fact that they love ballet and they come to it, but they don't know. If I look back in my life, would I change anything? Not now. Not now. I have a beautiful daughter who is 34 years old, who just got married, and who gives me great joy. I work all over the world. I have great friends who I love dearly, and I think I've had a great life. So.